This is Part 2 Episode 87. This Qilin looked almost exactly the same as the one Ling Qianhu had, the only difference in appearance was its color. Though its aura was far weaker than the one that belonged to the Sword Saint, Ling Qianhu. Qilin Soul Fragment. Wang Lin stared at the beast and reached out. Black gas came from all directions and transformed into a black lance. The golden Qilin let out a roar. Then a ball of golden light suddenly appeared before it and smashed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin moved forward and stabbed with the lance. Bang! After a loud bang that caused the surrounding spirit vein to crack, Wang Lin backed up one step and the ball of golden light dissipated. Interesting. Although Ling Qianhu's Qilin was alive, it couldn't use any spells, because it lost its inheritance. Although this soul fragment is much weaker, it can use spells. It clearly still has memories of its inheritance. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He slapped his bag of holding and two bells appeared. He threw the two bells and they closed in on the Qilin. The Qilin raised its front paw and slammed down. This shock wave caused the surrounding spirit vein to shatter and slow down the two bells. Wang Lin snorted. He suddenly moved and lunged forward. The lance flew through the air and pierced through the Qilin. The Qilin let out a roar. Black gas escaped from where it was pierced and turned into soul fragments. Without a word, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and took out the soul flag. With a wave, all of those soul fragments flew toward his soul flag. The Qilin let out a roar and immediately sucked those soul fragments back into its body. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He moved his right hand and the soul vortex appeared. He began to fight with the Qilin over the soul fragments. With Wang Lin distracting the Qilin, the two bells immediately grew in size and closed in on the Qilin. The Qilin snorted out two streams of black gas that turned into two smaller Qilins, both of which pounced at the two bells. Wang Lin's right hand moved and sent out waves of restrictions to seal the two Qilins. Then the two bells trapped them and they were put away by Wang Lin. Looking at the soul fragments that floated out of the Qilin, Wang Lin's eyes sparkled. He snorted and shouted, "Damn animal, if you had the power of your ancestor, I wouldn't be your match. However, you are merely a soul fragment that managed to condense into an illusionary body. Breaking you will not be hard." With that, Wang Lin's hand quickly moved and one by one illusion restrictions appeared. The illusionary restrictions surrounded the Qilin and descended like a net. The Qilin roared and began to struggle, causing the restriction to shatter. However, Wang Lin's hand didn't stop. The restrictions appeared like crazy and continued to land on the Qilin's body. Sweat gradually started filling Wang Lin's forehead, as he sent out countless restrictions in a matter of seconds. The Qilin began to roar even louder, but its body began to slow down like it was sinking in water. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He touched his bag of holding and a small flag flew out. This flag was the restriction flag. With a wave of the flag, countless black lances formed before him. Under Wang Lin's command, these black lances charged toward the Qilin. At the same time, Wang Lin's right hand didn't stop, he continued to create soul vortexes. His right hand moved like a ghost, creating one soul vortex after another. Countless black lances stabbed toward the Qilin whose eyes were filled with anger. It shook its body and more than 10 balls of golden light appeared around it. Bang! Bang! Several loud bangs could be heard as the lances and balls of golden light collided. Although a lot of the lances were stopped, some still made it past and hit the Qilin. Even more soul fragments poured out of the Qilin's body and were absorbed by the soul vortexes Wang Lin had set up. The Qilin let out a loud roar and began to struggle even harder, causing the restrictions on its body to shatter one by one. Wang Lin frowned. He didn't think that this illusionary body formed by the soul fragment of a Qilin could be so powerful. This Qilin was already as strong as a late-stage soul formation cultivator. If it's given more time to grow, it will soon reach the power of a soul transformation cultivator. Wang Lin's eyes darkened. He raised his right hand and the beast trap flew out. It landed on the side and turned into the god-slaying war chariot. The beast had weakened greatly after the battle with Red Butterfly, however, the moment it saw the Qilin, its body shook and its eyes became filled with greed. The moment the Chileen saw the spirit beast, it let out a roar as if it had just met its natural enemy. It stopped struggling against the restrictions, but revealed an intent to battle. When he saw this, Wang Lin was surprised. His eyes lit up and without hesitating, he sent a seal to the chariot. For the first time the beast let out a roar of joy, and for the first time the beast didn't wait for the chariot to open, or try to devour Wang Lin. It charged toward the Chileen with the black chains still attached to it. The Chileen let out a roar. Countless balls of golden light appeared before it to block the spirit beast's attack. The spirit beast let out a roar, and smashed through all of the balls of golden light. With a bang, the spirit beast collided with the Chileen. Both beasts let out painful groans. The spirit beast had charged too quickly, so the chains on its body were pulled to their limit. The pain from the chains forced the spirit beast to back up. It turned around and attempted to bite the chains, but no matter what it did, it couldn't break the chain. It then turned toward Wang Lin and began to roar. Its intent was obvious. The Chileen isn't a match for the spirit beast. All of the restrictions on its body shattered, and it was sent flying while a large amount of soul fragments escaped from its body. The moment these soul fragments appeared, they were absorbed by the surrounding soul vortexes. In the blink of an eye, they were all absorbed. The golden Chileen's body wasn't as solid as before and became more illusionary. As it looked at the spirit beast with frustration in its eyes, it let out low growls, but didn't dare to move forward. After all, it was only a soul fragment. When it was at its peak, it was stronger than the spirit beast, but right now it was no match. After the Chileen was knocked away, the golden soul flag became unguarded. Wang Lin quickly appeared before the golden soul flag, and was about to grab it. However, the golden Chileen let out an angry roar and pounced at Wang Lin. Wang Lin sneered as his right hand reached out, and the chains on the war chariot immediately disappeared. Without the chains holding it down, the spirit beast let out a joyous roar as it opened its mouth and attacked the Chileen. The Chileen let out a frustrated roar. Feeling helpless, it gave up on attacking Wang Lin and attempted to escape. The spirit beast began to chase after the Chileen. A large amount of soul fragments flew out of the Chileen and were absorbed by the soul vortex. Wang Lin grabbed the golden soul flag. Right after he touched it, a cold aura entered his body and went through it a few times before disappearing. Wang Lin revealed a look of joy as he spat out some soul essence blood which the soul flag absorbed. Rise! Wang Lin let out a shout and he pulled the flag up. A mass of black gas the size of an arm charged out from where the golden flag was and went through the entire soul refining mountain. From a distance, one could see the black gas shoot into the sky above the soul refining mountain and beginning to spread. At this moment, all of the disciples in the soul refining mountain stared dumbfoundedly at the sky. They had already noticed the roars from underground, but they were simply too powerful, so no one dared to check. The golden rings between the three mountains gently started trembling and a person walked out from the eighth ring. This person's hair was white and his face was gloomy. Just as he was about to go check what was going on, he suddenly stopped as if he had heard something. He turned around and bowed toward the two blood rings. As the ancestor commands. With that, he returned to the golden ring. Wang Lin held the golden soul flag, shook it, and said, "Primary soul Chileen, return." In the blink of an eye, the Chileen that had been forced into a corner by the spirit beast, and almost devoured multiple times, let out a roar and disappeared into the golden flag. Wang Lin felt the soul flag in his hand tremble. He felt very happy as he quickly put it away. The spirit beast was extremely angry. It already had a deep hatred for Wang Lin. Because he had stolen the prey it was about to devour, it charged toward Wang Lin. Although Wang Lin couldn't truly control the spirit beast, he could still seal it. He pointed at the chariot and countless chains appeared to lock down the spirit beast. As the spirit beast roared in anger, it was slowly dragged back into the chariot, and then it turned back into the beast trap. Wang Lin didn't put the beast trap back on, but completely sealed it and placed it in his bag. He disappeared and reappeared on top of the soul refining mountain. At this moment, the black gas above the mountain was very thick. Wang Lin stared at the black cloud and began to ponder. The noise from the battle should have caught the attention of the soul formation and above cultivators of the soul refining sect, yet no one came to check. This matter is interesting. Wang Lin stared at the 9 golden rings and took few extra looks at the 2 blood rings. Although he hadn't recovered all of his cultivation, he wasn't afraid. Even if a soul transformation cultivator came, he could still tear open space and escape using the star compass. He vaguely saw a pair of ancient eyes filled with kindness glance at him from one of the blood rings, and then immediately disappear. Eh? Wang Lin's eyes lit up. This person is... The eyes from the blood light disappeared in an instant. Wang Lin pondered for a bit and his eyes sparkled. Whether I stay at the soul refining sect or not doesn't matter anymore. For my origin soul to completely recover, I will need some amazing pills. Other than that, it would require very powerful spiritual pressure. It's not that I don't have methods, but they are a bit dangerous. Wang Lin looked at the soul extracting and soul sealing mountains with eyes filled with determination. He turned into a ray of light as he left the soul refining mountain and flew toward the soul extracting mountain. On his way there, a very exquisite woman was calmly watching from him from the side of the soul refining mountain. She let out a sigh and muttered, "His recovery is simply too fast. If I want to leave my shadow in his Tao heart, I must find out what his Tao heart is. However, I have been unable to see through his Tao heart in our interactions. Senior apprentice brother Wang, what exactly is your Tao heart?" Wang Lin landed on the soul extracting mountain and spread out his divine sense before charging toward a cave. The cultivator inside the cave was the person with the highest cultivation level beside the head elder, Sujinsha. The moment Wang Lin's figure appeared, Sujinsha, who was cultivating, opened his eyes and revealed an ugly expression. Wang Lin stood inside Sujinsha's save, looked around, and calmly asked, "Do you have the soul extracting jade?" Sujinsha pondered a bit and nodded. He couldn't see through this person's cultivation level, nor had he seen this person before, but he could tell by his clothes that this person was from the soul refining mountain. In the soul refining sect, the disciples of the 3 mountains were allowed to interact with each other. If one had the skill, they could learn all 3 techniques if they wanted to. Sujinsha had gone to the soul refining mountain many years ago, and got a soul refining jade. Sujinsha clenched his teeth and said, "I can give you the soul extracting jade, but I'm 300 soul fragments short from refining this soul flag into 1,000 soul flag. If you can give me the 300 soul fragments, I can let you look at the soul extracting jade." Wang Lin looked at Sujinsha. With his cultivation level, he felt it was beneath him to steal it. He took out his 1,000 soul flag with over 2,000 soul fragments, shook it, and 300 soul fragments flew out. Wang Lin reached out with his left hand and the 300 soul fragments transformed into a black pearl, then he headed toward Sujinsha. Sujinsha was also a decisive person. He took out a purple jade and handed it to Wang Lin. He asked, "What is senior apprentice brother's name?" "Qing Mu." Wang Lin took the jade and scanned it. The jade did indeed contain the method to extract a living soul, how to keep it from dissipating, and finally how to use it to refine a soul flag. The soul extracting jade also had 3 techniques: soul calming, soul luring, and soul poison. Soul calming was the core to soul extracting. If soul calming wasn't used first, the success of soul extracting would be very low. After being used, the success rate increases greatly. Soul luring was the actual technique of pulling a soul out of a living person. As for the final one, soul poison, it was the most vicious and most powerful of the 3 techniques, on par with the soul refining mountain's blood sacrifice. Soul poison used a mysterious method to turn a living soul into poison that could silently kill. Once it has been refined enough, it will turn into a poisonous soul with the power of a core formation cultivator. If it was just this technique wouldn't be much, but a long time ago, a disciple of the soul refining sect betrayed the sect and escaped. Using this technique, he went unopposed in a rank 4 cultivation country, and made his own sect called the Demonic Pill Sect. This person used some mysterious method to refine the poisonous soul into a pill, and then inject death aura into it to turn it into a green core. He called this the green core method, and this allowed him to reach the soul formation stage. He was considered a genius of his time. A green core and a golden core are very different. You can only have one golden core, but you can have many green cores. He used this method developed from the soul poison technique to reach the soul formation stage. He had tens of thousands of green cores at that point. When he attacked, he would send out thousands of green cores to explode. His power was something even soul transformation cultivators wouldn't want to mess with carelessly. After all, tens of thousands of green cores exploding was already earth-shattering. If he were forced him into a corner where he had to explode all of his green cores, the explosion would simply be too powerful. The soul-refining sect never took any action against him for betraying the sect, which confused many people. As the person disappeared, his legend also slowly faded into history. Su Jinsha looked at Wang Lin and asked, "Is senior apprentice brother Qing Mu going to go to the soul-sealing mountain to get the soul-sealing jade?" Wang Lin put away the soul-extracting jade and nodded. Su Jinsha bitterly smiled and said, "Senior apprentice brother is better off not going. There isn't a single soul-sealing jade at the soul-sealing mountain. Only soul formation ancestors are allowed to study the soul-sealing jade. The soul-sealing mountain only has a mixture of soul-refining and soul-extracting jades." Wang Lin's expression didn't change. He nodded and then disappeared. When he reappeared, he arrived at the soul-sealing mountain. Then he casually found a disciple and heard the same thing that Su Jinsha had told him. Wang Lin also checked under the spirit vein of the soul-extracting and soul-sealing mountains. Only the soul-sealing mountain had a soul flag under it, and it wasn't very powerful. The soul fragments inside it were also very uneven in terms of power. It took Wang Lin almost no effort to retrieve it. As for the soul-extracting mountain, it was completely empty. It was clear that someone had taken the soul flag many years ago. After finishing all of this, Wang Lin raised his head and looked toward the 9 golden rings and 2 blood rings. After a while, his eyes were brimming with determination. "Whether my origin soul will recover or not will all depend on today. I will fight the soul-refining sect's soul transformation ancestor. Only under the spiritual pressure of a soul transformation cultivator can my origin soul finally recover. At that moment, I can use the star compass to escape. Even if the soul transformation cultivator wants to catch me, they won't be able to." Wang Lin took a deep breath, and his eyes became filled with battle intent. He turned into a ray of light and flew toward the 9 rings of light. In his left hand he held the 10,000 soul flag, and in his right hand he held the restriction flag with 999 sets of restrictions. With both flags in hand, he arrived before the 9 golden rings. Just as he approached, he waved both of the flags. From the soul flag the golden Qilin flew out. Behind it were 9 black Qilins, and behind them were countless soul fragments. In just one moment, the entire soul-refining sect was covered with soul fragments. The endless howls became the only sound in this world. This was the first time Wang Lin had used the 10,000 soul flag. Its power was beyond his imagination. The golden Qilin let out a roar and charged toward the 9 golden rings. Bang! 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 With a series of loud explosions, the Qilin and the 9 dark Qilins behind it collided with the 9 golden rings, causing them to reveal men and women of various ages. These 9 people were the 9 soul formation cultivators of the soul-refining sect. After they appeared, they stared at the Qilins with shocked expressions. The golden Qilin backed up a few steps, shook its large head, and spewed out 2 jets of black gas that spread out. As Wang Lin stood on top of the Qilin, it hesitated, but didn't shake its head. Instead, it stared at the 9 of them with a vicious gaze. "You sure have guts." At this moment, one of the middle-aged women, who looked average among the soul formation cultivators, looked at Wang Lin with a gloomy expression and was about to attack. Wang Lin glanced at her and shouted, "Scram!" A monstrous aura spread out from Wang Lin. This aura was too much for the woman to handle. After all, Wang Lin had recovered his cultivation to the soul formation stage. He was just missing his domain. He was someone who fought against Red Butterfly, So his cultivation was a lot more powerful than most people's. This woman was only at the early stage of soul formation, and although he couldn't say he could kill her easily, it would not be hard either. He had killed quite a few of them already. There was a huge difference between someone who had killed others of the same cultivation level and someone who hadn't. With a shout from Wang Lin and a push from his powerful aura, the woman backed up. Her face was pale and filled with terror. Then she immediately became angry. After becoming a soul formation cultivator, she hadn't been shouted at by someone before. However, she suppressed her anger and sneered at Wang Lin. How could someone who became a soul formation cultivator be stupid? She knew that if this person came, he had to have something up his sleeve. The golden Chileen alone was not something she could fight against. Wang Lin stood on top of the golden Chileen and calmly said, "The 9 of you, make way." Arrogant. A green-robed old man narrowed his eyes, snorted, and pointed his right hand at Wang Lin. A ray of spiritual energy shot out, turned into a chain, and flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin waved the restriction flag, and countless restrictions flew out. The restrictions gathered into a black lance, and Wang Lin thrust it forward. The lance collided with the chain, instantly shattering it. However, the lance kept going toward the old man. At the same time, Wang Lin waved the soul flag. The Chileen, along with the 10,000 soul fragments, let out roars. As Wang Lin said the word devour, all of the soul fragments charged forward. From a distance, it looked like there was a giant gust of wind inside the soul refining sect. Just at this moment, an ancient voice came from inside the blood ring and said, "Little friend, this old man has waited for you for a long time." As the voice came, a figure wearing a blue robe, with hair extending to his waist walked out from one of the blood rings. With just one step, he arrived before everyone. His robe was very large, so as he moved, it also began to move. This person's face was grey and he looked very old, but his eyes shined like the stars. He carefully looked at Wang Lin and then waved his hand. "The 9 of you can leave." That wave contained a powerful pressure. The 9 soul formation cultivators respectfully bowed and disappeared. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and revealed an urge to battle. He couldn't see through the old man's cultivation level, but he was sure that this old man was at the soul transformation stage. "Little friend Seng Nyo, this old man has waited 2 years for this day." The old man looked at Wang Lin with a mysterious light in his eyes. Wang Lin was immediately able to recognize these eyes as the same ones from yesterday. He was surprised that this old man knew him. If Liu Mai could find him, then it wasn't strange for the soul refining sect's soul transformation ancestor to know as well. "For our meeting today, I'll first give little friend a small gift," he said, before pointing toward the soul refining mountain. His voice changed from the gentle tone it first had. It was now filled with pressure and killing intent. "Junior Liu Mai, you have 10 breaths of time to get out of my soul refining sect. If you don't, even if you're the disciple of the current Suzaku, I'll still kill you." Scram. Liu Mai's exquisite figure appeared above the soul refining mountain. She looked at the old man with a lovely expression and whispered, "Senior, Junior has orders from my master, and I didn't anger you. Why be like this?" Wang Lin's expression remained normal, but he quickly began to analyze what was happening. The old man calmly said, 6 breaths. Liu Mai sighed. She bit her lower lip and said, "Senior, if Junior just leaves like this, Master will punish me. If Master asks what happened, I'll have no choice but to tell him." 4 breaths. Killing intent poured out of the old man. He reached out and the image of a 30-foot-long flag appeared in his hand. Although this flag was only an image, a powerful pressure could be felt from it. For the first time, Liu Mai's expression changed greatly. 1 billion soul flag. She stared at the old man and clenched her teeth, before disappearing and leaving the soul refining sect. The old man didn't even look at where Liu Mai had gone to. He then turned to Wang Lin with a mysterious light in his eyes. "Little friend Seng Nyo, how was that small gift?" Liu Mai's existence was like a thorn at Wang Lin's side. When she was around, he felt like he was being targeted by a cobra. Now that Liu Mai left, this feeling suddenly disappeared. Wang Lin bitterly smiled. What kind of small gift is this? Senior is willing to offend Suzaku. Rather than feeling happy, it makes me very afraid. This soul-refining sect ancestor is very interesting, thought Wang Lin. He was sure that Liu Mai had the ancestor's permission to enter the soul-refining sect, or else there would be no way for her to enter. This old man didn't kick her out before, he chose to do it today before Wang Lin. This was to tell Wang Lin that the soul-refining sect's relationship with Suzaku had broken down, and that all of it was for him. This was not a small gift. The old man laughed and said, "This is not enough to offend the country of Suzaku. The current Suzaku is old and can't make the entire planet listen to him." Wang Lin pondered a bit, then he looked at the old man and said, "What does Senior want? You can just tell me." The old man revealed a look of appreciation in his eyes and said, "No rush, that was only the first gift. Now this is the second. Sengmyo, your origin soul has almost recovered. The reason you came to find me was to borrow my pressure to help you recover. My second gift is to help you recover your cultivation." After that, he didn't wait for Wang Lin to speak and his eyes lit up. A pressure several times more powerful than the spirit veins suddenly appeared around Wang Lin's body. Is it enough? Wang Lin's body trembled. Under this pressure, he felt like there were countless mountains on top of him and crackling sounds came from his body. The gaps between the pieces of his origin soul were closing, but this speed was still too slow. Wang Lin clenched his teeth and said, "Not enough." The old man's eyes lit up. His hair began to move without any wind and his robe began to flap. A pressure 10 times more powerful than before came down. Small cracks in space began to appear and spread as a result. How is this? Wang Lin's clothes were soaked by the blood that had been forced out of his pores, the vein on his forehead was bulging, and one of the 2 remaining T marks disappeared. The current Wang Lin could clearly feel the gaps between the pieces close, meaning his origin soul was quickly being repaired. A small portion of it had already fused back together. A sense of comfort came from within his body and eased the pressure. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said, "Not enough." "Oh, really? Okay, Sengmyo. It has been 200 years since I last used my celestial spiritual energy. I'm spending a lot on this second gift." The old man laughed and used the celestial spiritual energy in his body without any hesitation. A pressure very different from spiritual pressure descended. This pressure contained celestial spiritual energy. This reminded Wang Lin of the power from a celestial fragment collapsing. His body trembled and his origin soul reconnected at an amazing speed. After 5 breaths, the final T mark on his face was gone. At this moment, a laugh came from Wang Lin, and his eyes lit up like the sun during dawn. His spiritual energy suddenly filled his body, and his origin soul reached every corner of his being. He felt a soreness from all over his body that soon turned into a comfortable feeling like he had been limited for far too long. Wang Lin let out a laugh and then Sun Tai's seal collapsed as well. His cultivation recovered to the mid-stage of soul formation. In fact, it was even stronger than before. Wang Lin clasped his hands and said, "Thank you." The old man looked at Wang Lin. The praise in his eyes deepened and he said, "It is a bit too early to thank me. I have prepared a third gift for you. Do you dare to receive it?" Wang Lin took a deep breath. Now that he had recovered his cultivation, he gave off a dominating aura and faintly smiled. Why would I not dare? He understood that if the soul transformation ancestor was willing to expend so much, there had to be something that he wanted him to do, but he just didn't understand what a soul transformation ancestor would need his help for. Good. Sengmyo, this old man's last gift is to help raise your cultivation level to the peak of the late stage of soul formation. As for your domain, you are on your own. I can't help you there. With that, the old man flew toward the blood ring. Wang Lin pondered a bit and then followed without a word. Outside the blood ring, the old man reached out and the 30-foot-long soul flag appeared once more. This time, it was still only an illusion. This is the soul refining sect's main treasure, the 1 billion soul flag. It is because of this treasure that even though I'm only at the late stage of soul transformation, I dare to fight against an ascendant cultivator. I'll tell you the reason later, but as long as this treasure exists, my soul refining sect will never die. However, if this treasure breaks, then my soul refining sect is finished. Now I'll use the soul force inside this soul flag to raise your cultivation level to the peak of the late stage of soul formation. The old man looked at Wang Lin with a sharp gaze and shouted, "Sit down in the lotus position." Wang Lin looked at the old man, and did what he was told without any hesitation. If the old man wanted to attack him, there was really no need for someone this powerful to do all of this. However, Wang Lin's caution never dropped. If he detected anything wrong, he would escape with the star compass. The old man shook the 30-foot flag in his hand and waves of roars came from within it. 10 soul fragments quickly flew out and surrounded Wang Lin. These 10 soul fragments all released purple and gold auras and were filled with arrogance. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. Each of these soul fragments had the power of a soul transformation cultivator. No wonder he can fight ascendant cultivators with this soul flag. Wang Lin felt like he understood a bit more. The old man whispered, "Little friend Seng Nyo, all of the soul transformation souls inside this soul flag are ancestors of the soul refining sect. When a soul transformation ancestor is about to die, they give up their body and become a soul fragment to be added to the soul flag. You have to remember that when I die, you must add my soul fragment into the flag as well." The last sentence from the old man was out of nowhere, causing Wang Lin's heart to tremble. He gained some more understanding of what was going on. Just at this moment, the 10 soul transformation soul fragments emitted a powerful gold and purple light that seemed to cover the entire land. A thick source of spirit energy from the 10 soul fragments entered Wang Lin's body. He didn't even have to absorb it, as it all rushed into his body. A strange scene appeared in the sky. There were 10 soul fragments connected with gold and purple light, and at the center was Wang Lin. The spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body increased at a speed he had never felt before. In an instant, it had increased 1-fold, but it continued to raise without even pausing. 2-fold, 3-fold, 4-fold, all the way until 8-fold, and it was still growing. Seng Nyo, remember this old man's name, Du Qian. Absorb as much as you can. This old man isn't stingy. This video will end here.